Hey OzTREKKers, my name's Josh. I'm a first year medical student at the University of Melbourne, and today I'm just going to be talking a little bit about what to do if you get more than one acceptance. So I just wanted to start off by saying congratulations. Having one acceptance is an absolutely outstanding opportunity, and I hope you guys make the most out of it. But through my experience, I realized that there were a couple key things that made me land up picking Melbourne over a couple other schools. So I just wanted to share my thought process because I thought that it might be applicable to you. So I kind of just started off being like, how many acceptances do I have? You might have one, two, three, even four. That's amazing. And then where do they sit on your preferences? So I'm assuming before you had even applied, you kind of made a general um, mind map of maybe like which school is your top choice and why versus which is your second. So obviously, if you go into your number one, I would say go to your number one. But if you go into your two, three, four, and you're still waiting to hear back from your number one, how do you kind of approach that? Um, and then you got to realize that all the programs are different, so you need to figure out which ones are best for you. So I found that Melbourne had a very hands-on program and put you into clinic to practice with patients based off of just after your first year, as opposed to a lot of the other schools that you only get to start seeing patients full time in hospitals by year three. So I thought that that was a really big program, or a really big part of the program that kind of drew me towards it. And then four, I thought, what are the postgraduate considerations? So I know that you're getting the same degree, and in the majority of circumstances, you're probably going to have the same opportunities post graduation. But in medicine, I know there's residency afterwards. So which schools maybe give you the best chance of getting residency back home, which is the highest return rate. Um, Depending on what you want to do. If you're in physio, I know you can go into different aspects of physio and go into cardio or neuro. So, which school kind of gears you up the best towards getting into that field? Or in medicine, another example is getting into internship, which school has the highest internship rates for international students. So, there are definitely those considerations to think about. And I know OzTREKK has amazing statistics, at least for medicine, on the residency return rates and internship retention. So I'm assuming for your respective programs, they'll probably have something relatively similar. So I would reach out to them for that. And some other key factors. So this is kind of outside of school and the curriculum, but what place do you want to live in? Do you want to live in a city? Do you want to live by the beach? That kind of stuff. So I love the city. I grew up in Toronto, so I thought Melbourne would be a pretty good fit. But if you're a huge surfer and you want to have summer weather year round, the Gold Coast might be a better option for you. And what is there to do and see? So I know that in Melbourne there are a lot of there are amazing hikes all around. But I know there's the Grampians around here, Wilson's Promontory. There's Phillips Island. There is a beach near here. It's not as nice as the ones in like Surfers Paradise Beach or Bondi Beach, but a beach is a beach to Canadians, so it's all one and the same. And then my next factor that I looked at is people. So I have family in Australia, and not I'm assuming a lot of people don't. But if you've gone on exchange and have made friends in Australia, or you have any sort of connection, family friend out in Australia, I think that's a really big factor to consider, just because you're going to be moving all alone, and just having that sort of sense of community is going to be a massive jump start and a massive help for when you're moving in. And just to keep in mind that on top of just people you already know, think about OzTREKK and the amount of Canadian applicants going into your program. So for example, in medicine, in my cohort, from out of the Canadians through OzTREKK, there's 7. But I know for dentistry, there could be upwards of 20, 20, 30. So, I mean, that's already a huge community you'd be moving with, everyone in the same position as you. And OzTREKK sets up a bunch of meet and greets. So you are going to move with people you know. But I think that that's also a big factor. If you're going to a cohort with only 2 other Canadian students and you know nobody, yeah, you'll make a ton of friends right off the bat in your program. But I also think that that's something that people don't consider when moving, and it's always a lot easier of a transition moving knowing people who are in the same position as you. And then the last thing, finances. This is pretty, like, I mean, you're paying tuition for an international graduate degree program. So it's going to be pricey. And some schools do have scholarships, which would be amazing if you got, and I think that would be a huge factor if you got it. But I mean, just based off of living costs as well, and food costs and all that kind of stuff, it's going to be a little bit more expensive for rent in the city, and just based off of finances, sometimes some places are a little bit more financially feasible to live in. So I think that that's also a really important factor. So these are basically the most important factors I considered into making my decision and deciding to land up in Melbourne. And I just wanted to say good luck and congratulations to the rest of you. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out.